Elon Musk revealed Tesla electric airplanes. Elon Musk revealed the possibility of launching electric plane in future. Elon Musk and his businesses have brought some of the most groundbreaking approaches of space travel and on-road transportation with all of the advances we've seen in the last few decades. But it's possible that the billionaire scientist is staring not just at space and Earth, but also at the kingdom of the sky. The aviation industry has been the least progressive in recent decades, but it isn't because better options couldn't be devised. Rather, the alternatives will have unrivaled impacts on either its financial or environmental sustainability. Might energy, on the other hand, offer an answer? How does Tesla plan to proceed with one of its most ambitious ventures, taking flight to new heights? We have no understanding of what to expect from the Tesla plane, unlike Musk's automotive and interplanetary plans, so we'll try to split the video down into 5 segments. Is Tesla planning to enter the aviation market? Will it be stronger than a traditional aircraft? What challenges an electric plane must tackle? How it will be solved? And what to expect from it? Tesla is leading the way in on-road transportation. Thousands of videos and leaks about Tesla's inventions with on-road EVs can be found online, but a Tesla plane seems to be something that will take so much time that it wouldn't be worth the wait. In comparison to these arguments, Elon Musk has confirmed that he is considering designing an effective electric aircraft. What we can deduce from the details we have is that Elon has repeatedly said that his plane concept is VTOL, or a craft that can take off vertically. He has indicated that, based on his interviews, he intends to make it a supersonic jet. However, just looking at the bright side is insufficient to determine how well it will do. Another indication that Tesla is seriously considering this project is that it is looking at the massive challenges and improvements expected. Elon claims that the potential they have for a Tesla plane is a bottleneck of productivity and money, not just an economic challenge.
Yeah, it's hard to. It's an entirely different regulatory regime. There aren't any car companies that are also aircraft companies. It's incredibly hard to bring an aircraft to production and meet all of the regulatory requirements worldwide.
While Tesla is aiming for a full-fledged jet, car manufacturers such as Tesla and Hyundai have proposed several studies and patents for a concept of cars that could transport 3 to 4 people by air.
It's a very difficult thing. So it's not like it's something that could just be done. We would have to not do a bunch of other things. It's not like there's like a ton of unallocated resources at Tesla and like, oh, what should we do now?
Since other firms invest in similar technology to Tesla, it would provide the necessary competition for Tesla to present their best results and quickly.
It's like a constant resource starvation. It's incredibly difficult to find the right talent, integrate them into an organization, and have it work effectively. It's not a money thing. Especially, there's just a fundamental limitation on exceptional engineers.
Our planes are having problems. It's not a lack of creativity, but rather a lack of practicality and cost. Remember the Concorde, which could fly from New York to London in just 3.5 hours when it was first launched in the 1980s? Although this was realistic, it had several flaws, especially in terms of fuel prices and the potential harm to the ozone layer. According to Musk, he also intends to make takeoffs more effective by reducing runway length. The flight could basically take off like a drone if the plane could generate upward thrust that could then be diverted as forwarding thrust for movement. Since the upward thrust can be distributed between several propellers, it can be used to minimize takeoff noise. This is also feasible since the average power required for an aircraft to take off is just 400 watts per kilogram. Tesla is also focusing on increasing the power of its batteries.
Compelling aircraft, you only really need about 400 watt-hours per kilogram, provided the percentage of cell on the aircraft is high. It doesn't need to be anywhere near as high as it is on a rocket, but if it's sort of at the 70% level, at 400 watt-hours per kilogram, you can do very decent range.
Unlike traditional aircraft, the Tesla plane will be supersonic and free of the existing issues. This means that transportation would be much quicker, with a 50% reduction in travel time. Tesla is focusing on increasing battery power, and Musk says that in a couple of years, they will be able to manufacture more powerful batteries. Then there's the fact that airlines aren't allowed to make pit stops. Even if your Tesla car's battery is fully charged, you may need to make a stop or two on a cross-country road trip. Imagine being able to ride hundreds of miles in the air over nations with a single foot. Fortunately, many firms are working on how to make batteries more powerful without increasing their capacity, which could come as a relief to those expecting the Tesla plane. However, the airlines will have a problem not only with the battery power, but also with protection. Multiple precautions can be installed in a plane's fuel tanks to ensure that they're not affected, and even if they are, measures can be taken to reduce the severity of the damage. However, since the electric plane is still in its infancy, there is simply inadequate testing and certifications to include a safety protocol if the battery fails. It's also a lot more expensive to search for defects in the battery on a daily basis than it is to check the fuel piping on a typical jet. About any problem has a solution. The humans can find quick and convenient solutions as long as there is time. With Tesla, this is to be predicted. The issues with an electric plane aren't nearly as serious. It has also been shown that supersonic aircraft can take off vertically. Electric planes will also be able to fly short distances at a speed of less than 40 kilometers per hour. Is it a phrase you've used before? Well, when electric vehicles were sluggish and had poor mileage, this was just what people said about them. Then Tesla appeared, and the world of electric vehicles was forever changed. Planes should be treated in the same way. Musk also reported that in order to solve the issues, he intends to combine Tesla's facilities with SpaceX's aeronautical engineers. This will also serve as a much-needed educational resource for an electric plane that no one else has. He also claimed that flying car designs could be realistic. Furthermore, the most serious battery issues are being addressed on a daily basis. Not only EVs, but also equipment and technology necessitate smaller but more powerful batteries, and the attempt to develop efficient batteries is being studied from all angles. When the battery issues are resolved, the first electric planes will only be a matter of checks and certifications. Consider what the passage of time has done to machines. Back in the 1980s, computers were massive, but they used a lot of resources. It can now be as thin as a MacBook, thus providing unrivaled performance when compared to older computers. It'll just be a matter of time before we see the same trend in batteries. Tesla also succeeds in introducing a new power source. Instead of charging from the ground, charging the plane in mid-flight would be more realistic, right? There is, however, a solution, and it is known as solar electricity. Solar panels with high performance could provide a backup power source for the Tesla aircraft, which would be as effective as a backup fuel tank on a traditional plane. Granted, Tesla will have to redesign the entire solar panel to achieve the highest efficiency, but it is theoretically possible. However, not all solutions for the EV plane come from Tesla. Some solutions for the EV plane come from environmentalists. To manufacture powerful electric planes, financing and specific experiments have been undertaken, and the best part is that they're both open source. Take a peek at Musk's new tweet, in which he confirms the probability. Following that, assuming Tesla begins to develop a blueprint for the machine, it will require 2 to 3 years of testing and analysis to develop a working model. However, there are still some aviation certifications that must be obtained before the plane can be mass-produced. This will add 1 to 2 years to the timeline, and Tesla would require another year or two to get the plane to market. Furthermore, certain new protocols for an electric plane could take up to a year to develop, which may take up to a year. You can also anticipate the plane carrying a larger number of passengers and freight, as well as being more powerful. You should also expect the Tesla plane to gain a lot of government support and financing because it can enable countries' transition to greener modes of transportation. Government aviation departments should collaborate with Tesla, just as SpaceX does with NASA, to make aviation more accessible, competitive, and affordable. But when it comes to costs, you would have to wait a couple more years for ridiculously low fares, since Tesla will also need to recoup the money it spent in testing in its early years. Thanks for watching. For more updates, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. Wait! We have over hundreds of videos for you. Either you click the left video or right one. See you there.